I can still see the room, the TV next to the fireplace, the carpet, me lying on the floor. It was 1997, the night I watched Scream for the first time. It's tattooed in my brain, and I didn't know it at the time, but that was the night I got hooked on horror. Scream's always been one of my favourites, but it wasn't just another horror film in my house. I grew up in a very movie-heavy house. Some of my earliest memories are of mostly 18 certificate films just being on the telly while I was being babysat. My older brothers were always watching something. Jaws, Predator, Aliens, Die Hard, Big Trouble in Little China, The Thing. That stuff was just normal background noise growing up. But Scream, that one felt different. That one felt like it was mine. It was 97. I was still in little school. My brother told me about this new horror flick called Scream. I'd never heard of it. We were in a pub somewhere in rural London with his college friends, and he's like, yeah, there's this horror film that came out last year. It's pretty popular, made by the guy who did Nightmare on Elm Street. That was all I needed to hear. About a week later, it hit VHS in the UK, and he grabbed a copy from Blockbuster.
It's a Scream, baby!
Do rent the ultimate scary movie.
Can you see me?
Scream.
It was night, I was on the floor, same as always. I don't know why, I was just always on the floor for films and games, that was my thing. Lights were on, curtains closed, volume up, and I remember the start, the title coming in loud. Then the phone ringing.
Hello?
Hello?
And that line.
You never told me your name.
Why do you want to know my name?
I want to know who I'm looking at.
That bit, I remember the feeling more than anything, just a proper chill going down my spine. I wasn't thinking about film history, I wasn't thinking about generations, none of the stuff I overthink about now. I just felt it, scared and excited at the same time, not because I thought it was real, just because it felt new. And I remember the mask as well. Back then it was just creepy, but not iconic yet. And it hadn't been mass-produced into a million different versions yet. I actually owned one in 97, haven't got a clue what happened to it. It never mentioned the name Ghostface, it just said Scream. Didn't even feel like a franchise thing, just something creepy. After Scream finished and you had that simple yet really wicked jump scare, followed by some awesome tunage. I'm sure we just talked about the movie for ages. That kind of buzz where you don't want it to end. And then going to bed after, still thinking about it, still a bit scared. And that was it. After that, I was hooked. I remember going into school and telling friends about it. Even got my mum's friend's daughter into it. She was a bit older than me. And when I finally got my own copy, that was different. That meant I could watch it whenever I wanted. And I did. Loads and loads and loads and loads. If a new slasher came out on VHS at Blockbuster, I watched it day one. Scream 2, Scream 3, I Know What He Did Last Summer, I Still Know What He Did Last Summer, Urban Legend, Urban Legend's Final Cut, Cherry Falls, Valentine, that whole late 90s teen slasher wave, I was there for all of it. And in between waiting for the next one, I started going backwards. All the Friday the 13ths, all the Nightmare on Elm Streets, all the Halloweens, all the Texas Chainsaws, Slumber Party Massacre, The Burning, Sleepaway Camp, The Hills of Eyes, The Town That Dreaded Sundown, and of course, the granddaddy of them all, Psycho. And it just kept going and going. Then in the early 2000s, the cinema had a lot to offer. Jeepers Creepers 1 and 2, Wrong Turn, which, wow, that is a good movie. Joyride, which in the UK was known as Roadkill. High Tension, which in the UK was known as Switchblade Romance. And The Big Boy's coming back, which means I finally got to see him on the big screen. Jason X, Freddy vs. Jason, Halloween Resurrection, and Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2003. So that one night, watching Scream on VHS kicked all of this off. I saw all of these flicks because of Scream. It also got me into music because all those 90s slashers had rocking soundtracks and yeah, they rocked. It wasn't just a film, it was a doorway. When I watch Scream now, it doesn't scare me anymore, obviously, but I've watched it so many times since 97, so how can it? That's nearly 30 years worth of watching. Also, there's way worse things in the real world to be scared of now. But when I do watch it now, I feel something else. Comfort. I watch it and it feels like my time. The clothes, the music, the way people talked, no smartphones, no social media. It feels like where I belong. But at the same time, there's this other feeling, like, Paul, that world's gone, dude. And that's weird and really creepy. Back then, I was scared of Ghostface. Now, I'm more aware of time. I'm aware that I'll never get that teenage horror energy back in the same way. I mean, how could I? I've got 40 years of life in my head now. And yeah, that's a bit of a weird one. There's also something else I've realised. Watching Scream now isn't the same as watching it back then. Back then, it wasn't nostalgia. It was just now. No one really knew the rules yet. No one was overanalyzing everything. You just watched it and took it in. Now, everyone already knows what Scream is. They know the twists. They know the tone. They know the whole meta thing before they even press play. So it hits differently. It's like there's a difference between being there when something happens and discovering it years later when it's already become a classic. You can dig up an ancient Egyptian mummy, but you can't experience ancient Egypt, can you? Both differences are valid, but they're not the same feeling. But here's the thing. That night didn't disappear. It shaped my taste in movies. It started something that's still here, still inside me. The thrill changed, the fear changed, but my love for horror didn't. That was the night Scream made horror mine. And even if I'm not that kid lying on the floor looking up at the glowing CRT anymore, he's still in the room.